It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. You all remember when the Pharisees asked Yahusha when the kingdom of God would come. Notice they asked him when. When would it come? Not where, not how, but when. And what was Yahusha's answer to them? The first thing he said was, the kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God, comes not with outward observation. It comes not with observation. So then what do you get from that? You who's listening to this message. If you were to ask the master, if he was standing right in front of you and you asked him, Master, when is the kingdom of God coming? When is it going to come? And his answer to you was, it doesn't come with outward observation. The kingdom of God doesn't come with observation. What would you take from that? Just want you to think about it for a minute. What would you deduce from that answer? Okay, and then secondly, he said, for they shall not say, for they shall say, look here, look there. That ain't how it works. They're not going to say, look here, look there. Then he goes further and says, for the kingdom of God is within you. Now that's an interesting answer to the question when, isn't it? When is the kingdom of God? It's within you. When is it? It's within me? What do you gather from that, little flock? So it doesn't come with observation, and it is within me. So that's the answer to when the kingdom of God will come. What's your summary of it all that you've heard? If that was the answer he gave to you. Because that answer still stands to this day, does it not? That would be his answer if you were to ask him that today. When is the kingdom going to come? We're all waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. When is it going to come? The kingdom of heaven is within you. So when he says the kingdom of heaven is, that's your answer to when. That ain't the game over, Skeedly D. That's the going to the next level, Skeedly D. You passed the board. Skeedly D, Skeedly D. You passed the board. Is. So when is is? Is right now. That's when is. Because if I'm is doing something, that means I'm currently doing it. If I ain't doing it, then that means I'm not doing it. If I want to do it, that means I still ain't did it. There's only one way to do it, and that's to is be doing it. Y'all understand what I'm telling to you today? Now, you understand the is part of the answer he gave when you understand the Father's name. You understand all the statements that Christ made when you understand the Father's name. And you understand the people who are listening to Christ's misconception and why they felt the way they felt and responded the way that they did. Once you understand those things I just told you, the Father's name and where the kingdom is and when it is. It is, and his name is I am. Both of those things mean present. Now Christ is going around saying, I am the way. I am the life. I am the bread from heaven. I am. I am. Before Abraham was, I am. And they took up stones. This is what I was describing to you. Why did they take up stones? It tells you why. He says, "For what good work have I done that you're going to stone me?" They said, "Not for any good work you've done, but you being a man, make yourself equal with God." When did he do that? When he said, "Before Abraham was, I am." What's the Father's name? See what I'm describing to you? Was I am before Abraham? So then was Yahushua lying? So then why did they take up stones? Who took up stones? Just random everyday people? Was it the religious people of the day are the ones that took up stones? The only people who would have known to pick up stones are religious people. You hear the reason they said? You being a man, make yourself equal with God. Only religious people are offended by that. Over righteous people are offended at that. That's why they're casting the stones. People that always know the law are the ones who are trying to enforce it. You see? But they don't know that they're trying to enforce a dead thing. That's why they do dead things to enforce it, like kill. You see that? But Son of Man came to save life, not destroy it. So the Son of Man, would that be a servant of the Most High Yah? So the servants seem to be doing something different than the nation does. It's always that way, isn't it? Someone trying to stand in the gap. Someone sent to give the word to the people. And those who are sent to give the word are set apart so that they can receive it. You can't be in the world, of the world, and expect to receive the set apart things. It's not going to work. Because he said, if you be a friend to this world, then you're an enemy to God. It seems harmless if you be a friend to this world, doesn't it? You get along with everybody. You have a great reputation. That seems like the right way to live. It seems like a good thing. But it's not. Because he says that what? Woe unto you when all men speak well of you. See? It's impossible that if you have wheat and tares, that everybody's saying the same thing concerning you. It's impossible. So if the world all agrees concerning you, and they all speak well of you, then woe to you. Because that's what they did to the false prophets. They speak well of those men until those men are exposed and they fall and they're thrown into the wind. And then they just move on to the next guy and act like their judgment was never off about that man that they were worshiping and idolizing. See what I'm saying to you? Proving that their kingdom, they're looking for it outside of themselves. They prove it by what they do. By giving heed to vain things and vain idols and false prophets and false pastors. Giving heed to that proves that you don't know where the kingdom is. Because those same ones are pointing out somewhere, saying he's going to come. The kingdom is going to come. And they're pointing out there somewhere. And when they say it's going to come, then they're denying the is. The is. Today is the day of salvation, if you would have it be so. Today is the day. That is, you see? Because that's all you got is. You ain't got might be. You ain't got I'm about to. You ain't got I'm finna. You ain't got that. You only got I'm is. And I know I'm saying that crazy, but you understand what I'm saying. I is. I am. So now we see that Yahushua gave us the location and the timing. When he was asked about the timing, he knew that people didn't understand the location nor the timing. So he told them both. That's called grace. He could have just said when. It is, brother. It's at hand. It's right there. Like I've said on my other video. Kingdom of heaven is right there. It's a simple choice to enter in or to not. And that's why Paul says, I die daily. So you see? So that he can choose to reside in the kingdom. And that requires you to give up your flesh existence each day. Hold on, y'all. My bad, y'all. Carrying this jugs of water. Trying to slide out this bag here. But you see, he gave them the extra information because he knew they didn't understand it. And they were looking and looking. And then you read the book of Acts and you see the same question come up. They're still asking the same question, man. When is the kingdom of God going to come? So do you think the answer would change? Nope. That flesh life and that spiritual life, or in other words, that flesh mind or that spiritual mind, is an everyday choice and an every moment choice, because I am exist in every moment. And as long as you remember that, to rest where the Father is, where is he? He's in I am. He is I am. So he's present. So then that is our reminder. That is what keeps us in the kingdom. It is when we become not present. See? Just like your classroom. They call your name and you're not there. Then there's nobody to put the hand up. If you're there, you say the words present. Same thing with the kingdom. Are you present in the kingdom? Or are you absent? See? And what does he say about being in the flesh? Long as you're in the flesh, you're absent from Christ. See? You see? That's why the fleshly mind is fighting against God and cannot be subject to his ways. So there's no need in believing that anything that is of the flesh mind is beneficial to our life. It's not. It's actually a hindrance, and it's blocking us from the kingdom, which is always available to us at every moment. If we decide to stop taking thought and worrying about things that have nothing to do with I am. Tomorrow will take care of the thoughts of itself because I am. If I find myself thinking about tomorrow, I am no longer I am. Now, whose kingdom are we talking about when we say the kingdom of God? We're talking about the kingdom of I am. It's his kingdom. He didn't have to tell us his name, but since he did, I'm going to take him up on it. This is my name for all generations. All right, then. Solve that. Solved it. So you are forever present. You're not some God in the past, and you're not some God of the future. You're present, ever, always existing. And so shall we be if we're to be like him. But if we don't know the timing or the place of the kingdom, then how can we go? You don't know the time or the place of the party. How can you arrive? You ain't RSVP. You can't bring your own bottle or nothing because you don't know where it's at and you don't know what time it is. That's the most important things you need to know if you want to be somewhere. If you want to be present, just like school we were referencing earlier. You get your schedule. Y'all remember that? You're looking at it. You're looking at your friends' schedules to see what classes y'all got together. You and your girlfriend, y'all are looking. We got fifth hour together. Yeah! It's called your schedule. So now you know where to be and you know what time to be there. Now you're good. So then, you want to RSVP to get to the kingdom. What would the date and the location say on it? It would say, it's right now and it's in you. So you better get there. It's going on right this moment and it's going on inside of you. It is. Uh-oh. Am I late for the party? Yeah, you're late. You were asleep. You didn't know. It's okay. But now you do know. You see? So if people come up to you saying, the party's going to be over there in London, don't believe them. If they say the party's going to be over there in Vietnam, don't believe them either. If they say the party's going to be in the desert, don't go. For the party is within you. And believe me, it will be a party in there when you're in the right thought and the right feelings about every circumstance you find yourself in. When you learn to just be present and you learn to not fear being present, you learn to let it go. You learn to give up your life. And it's very simple when you understand that you didn't create this thing. You understand what I'm saying? When I say create this thing, I mean your existence and your walk. You didn't author it. You're just fulfilling it. Are you better than Christ? What did Christ say he came to do? To fulfill everything written of him. See? To submit to the author of the story completely. And so we follow him, submitting ourselves to the author of our story. And how do you translate that? No longer my will, but your will be done, Father. What you have written for me, I will face it without fear. Because if I fear it, then that means that I don't trust you. I don't trust what you wrote for me. Well, I'm looking at it, and it looks terrible. But the Father would have you not judge outward appearance. So as soon as you start focusing on how it looks, are you carnally minded or spiritually? Simple. Simple. Subtle, but simple. Your mind needs it, it feels like. You see? Just like all the bad things in your life, your body feels like it needs it. Any addiction, anything that's hard to overcome, it's because your body feels like it needs it. But it doesn't need it. It just feels like it does. You see what I'm saying? It just feels like it does. So if you're carnally minded, then you'll believe it. But the spiritual mind is not bound by those things. It's free. Life in peace. It knows that the Father loves him. The carnal mind doubts whether the Father loves him. Anything done with doubt is sin. So you see the error? The spiritual mind is full of faith. The carnal mind is full of evil. Second guessing. Double-mindedness. Ain't going to do you no good. It ain't going to do you no good, because if the kingdom is within you, then that means the power is within you. Because they said kingdom of God, and that word God means power. So the kingdom of power is within you. So then if you find something that's trying to threaten you, where would you go to have something powerful fight against it for you? Outside of yourself? Oh, but many do, don't they? They run to governments, militaries, all kinds of places outside of themselves, instead of looking inside of themselves. That's where the power is. So I will remind you to look there today, little flock. Salawam Israel.